What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. A big thank you for coming back and joining me on another video right here on YouTube. So in the last episode of the Arsenal save, we faced off against Manchester City. Unfortunately, despite a bright start and Jude Bellingham scoring early, Manchester City would come out of that game 2-1 victors. Now that game was around January time, and that means that in today's episode we have pushed forwards. It's the 2nd of February, and that means we have gone through the winter transfer window. So we have made some new signings. We're going to introduce those to you. We're also going to show you the schedule and how we're getting on in terms of the Premier League and the other competitions. Finally going to run through the squad and show you where those new signings fit in, and we're also going to have a little look at the finances and what's left going towards the end of the season. So let's jump on in and reveal who the signings that we have made in the winter transfer window are. Okay, here we go then. You might have noticed from the little graphic that we have made two signings in this transfer window. Now we have gone down the path of quality over quantity. We have spent a decent outlay for the two players that we have signed, but the first one that we're going to unveil is Josip Sutalo. He is a 24-year-old Croatian who plays as a centre-back. Now I felt it was a position that we needed to strengthen in. We have some good options there anyway, but there is another reason which I will show you in just a second. But he is in at the club, and you can see in terms of his stats, he has good tackling, marking, heading and first touch in the technicals. In the mentals, he's really well rounded. Aggression, anticipation of 17, composure of 16, determination of 15, positioning 16, work rate, vision and teamwork are all standout stats for him there. In terms of the physicals, he has good jumping reach, pace, strength. He's 6'3" in terms of height, 24 years in terms of age, and I think this is a player who could turn out to be a bit of a steal. Let's just dip into the history tab and show you. We paid £42 million in total, and as you can see, we actually bought him from Real Madrid. So he starts the game off at Dinamo, ends up going to Bayern Munich in the first season, and then Madrid have paid £32.5 million for him, and we have paid them £42 million. So it is a big outlay, but I feel that he is a player who will make us more rounded at the back. He'll give us some options in terms of his height, his strength. I think he's going to be an elite centre-back for us going forwards, especially when we are looking to challenge on all fronts going on. The second of those two players is Leon Goretzka, and you can see we have now got an elite midfield. We're going to have Jude Bellingham and Leon Goretzka in the middle of the park with all the other options that we have too. This is one I felt I just could not pass up on. 80 million euros, I believe it is. It may even rise to 90. But looking at him, he's 29 now, so he's in the prime of his career. He's 6'2", and he's a world class midfielder in terms of his media description. He's a perfectionist in terms of his personality. Looking at him as a player, he can play as a box-to-box midfielder, can play anywhere through the centre, but also comes as a bonus as a makeshift in quite a lot of other positions. Looking at him stat-wise, in terms of being a central midfielder, he has good dribbling, finishing, first touch, long shots, passing, tackling, technique. Mentals are crazy. Anticipation, bravery, composure, determination, off the ball, teamwork and work rate. And then in terms of the physicals, he has pretty much everything is stand out, but strength, stamina, jumping reach, those are all of the things that we need to make sure that our midfield is top notch. So let's have a little look at what that transfer fee was. The fee was £85 million up front. Potential cost with add-ons is £90 million. So perfect, really. It was a lot of money that we spent because we needed to go out and reinforce that midfield, but it now means that we have stolen two of the Bundesliga stars in terms of Jude Bellingham and Leon Goretzka, and we really have got a midfield that is going to be elite going forwards. So in terms of other transfers, let's show you. There was nothing else that came in, so we have a layout there of nearly £127 million. But there are some significant players who left the club in January. So Albert Sambi Lokonga has gone to Ajax for £11 million. He was upset that he wasn't getting the first team football that he wanted, so we have decided to let him leave. Russell Wilson's gone out on loan, Jared Brantwaite has gone out on loan, and then Takahiro Tomiyasu is the other player who has left the club. £38.5 million from Juventus. Didn't really want to sell him, but he kind of asked to leave in a way where he kind of said, could you consider the offer from Juventus? And once that starts happening, the ball is rolling for the player to leave anyway. So he got his wish and managed to get out. Marquinhos has gone out on loan. Morten Hjulmand managed to get £10 million for him. He was a player that we paid £3.6 million for initially, so we have got a good return on him, and he has gone to Italy to play for Atalanta. We also have sold Granit Xhaka. He become disillusioned at the club, wanted a new challenge. Who are we to stand in the way of a player who really is a bit of a liability, but in real life has come good. We let Granit Xhaka leave to go to Sporting for £11 million. Other players to go out: Kobe Small, Ibrahim Digbereko has gone out on loan to Birmingham, and Brian Ocko has gone out on loan to Coventry. So 2 centre-backs. As I said, we signed Sutalo and allowed other centre-backs to be moved on, but those 2 in particular are young players who I think can develop with first team football at both Birmingham and Coventry. Right then, that's all the transfer activity done for this transfer window. Let's show you the finances and what we have got left in the bank, plus how we are looking in terms of the wage structure. We will then go on and show you the schedule, the competitions, and finally the squad. So a quick overview of the finances screen will show you that even though we had a massive outlay of nearly £130 million for 2 players, we are actually managing the purse strings quite well. The club as a whole have £29 million in the bank, and they're still allowing us to spend £41 million. The wage budget is £3.9 million. We're spending 3.6. So in terms of everything financially, we are really doing well. I don't see there being any problems going forward. The club obviously is reliant on us continuing to qualify for the Champions League, so that will be good if we can continue to do that. Looking quickly at the club vision tab, in terms of the board, we are being scored with a B. Increased commercial revenue is still one we can't get, but work within the wage budget, sign players to sell for a profit, grow the club's reputation. We are doing all of those things. In terms of the supporters, B plus there as well. So we are playing attacking football, playing entertaining football, playing high tempo pressing football, finishing above Tottenham in the league currently, finishing above Man United in the league currently, become the most reputable team in England. They're reserving judgment, the fans, on that, but I do think that we are moving in the right direction for that. I'm going to forge a higher reputation than Chelsea. They're satisfied, so I'm not sure whether we've achieved it or not, but it seems to be okay. And then qualify for the UEFA Champions League. We are on course to do that currently. So that's a quick look at the finances and the club vision. Let's show you exactly how we are getting on in the Premier League. A few things to fill you in on then since that game against Manchester City. So here it is. We lost 2-1, as I said, due Bellingham scoring early on, Phil Foden and Serge Gnabry scoring for Manchester City to give them the win. We then faced Manchester City again, and this time we lost 3-1 at the Etihad. Serge Gnabry, Erling Haaland, Mamadou Akanji scoring, and Ruben Neves getting himself sent off after 37 minutes. But we couldn't capitalise, although there was a debut goal for Johnny Kenny. Drafted him into the first team to play, rotated the team as I didn't think we were going to do too fantastically, and it turned out we lost 3-1. But then in the FA Cup third round, we played Accrington Stanley. We beat them 3-1 with goals from Jesus, Dybala and Jude Bellingham. Amadou Bakayoko scoring for them, but we did again rotate the team, give a few of the players that we needed to get some game time, and we progressed into the fourth round there. We then played Manchester City again at home, and knowing that we had already lost in the first leg, we didn't go hell for leather. We played a rotated team. We actually did really well. We lost 3-2. Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland scoring for City, Jude Bellingham and Smith Rowe scoring for ourselves. Smith Rowe is a little bit of an odd one. He loves the club but wants to leave because he isn't getting the game time that he feels he deserves. I don't think he's developed perfectly in this game, but Having said that, we are signing midfielders like Leon Goretzka, and he's competing with Saka on the right, so bit of a hard one to get him into the team, but we are trying our best. As you can see there, he's getting some game time. It's better than no game time. Back in Premier League action, and we beat Leicester 2-0. Jude Bellingham and Gabriel Jesus getting the goals there. And then we had a thumping win over Antwerp in the UEFA Champions League phase. So 7-0 victory. Gabriel Jesus getting 5, Dominic Szoboszlai and Martin Odegaard on the score sheet. And that meant confidence was riding high towards the end of January. We had a 3-1 win in the Premier League against West Ham. Martinelli, Odegaard and Goretzka scoring. Nikola Vlasic scoring for West Ham. We drew with Monaco 0-0 in the Champions League, which was just an okay result. Didn't really do anything bad, didn't do anything good either. And then we played against Brentford last time out in the Premier League, and we won 4-1 at the Brentford Community Stadium. Dybala getting 2, Odegaard and Johnny Kenny getting another goal when he was playing in the Premier League. So that's how we've been getting on in terms of the schedule. Let's click to the competitions, and you can see in the Premier League we are currently sat in second place. Have played a game less than Liverpool, but we are 4 points behind. Goal difference is 32. In the UEFA Champions League, we are currently sat in 12th place, played 8, goal difference of 9 and 14 points. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm presuming we need to be jumping up a few places to get into this top 8. Although I think if 8 qualify, then the next 8 go through as their challengers or into a pot to be drawn out for the knockout phase, I think. Haven't quite grasped the Champions League yet, I will be honest. In terms of the FA Cup, we play against Chelsea in that 4th round. And the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out in the semi-final by Manchester City. The Community Shield, we were runners-up at the start of the season. So let's break the Premier League down just a little bit more. As I said, you can see here that we are 4 points behind Liverpool, but do have a game in hand. If we go to stages, you can see fully. We played 24, won 17, drawn 4, lost 3, scored 52, conceded 20, a goal difference of 32 and 55 points. So comparing ourselves directly to Liverpool, who are our closest rivals, they have won more games than we have. They have scored more goals than we have and also conceded less. So they've scored 10 more, conceded 6 less, but we are still there fighting them all the way in terms of the Premier League. If we go back to that profile screen, we can have a look at a few stats, and you can see in terms of players in the stat sections, we have nobody in the top scorers. Haaland has 25 league goals by February. Absolute machine. He has 7.72 average rating. And then we have Eriksen, Lamar, Vieira and Foden on the top assist list. Player of the Match Awards, Darwin Núñez, David from West Ham, Lukaku and Haaland there. Aaron Ramsdale has kept 10 clean sheets. And then Bukayo Saka, tackles per 90 minutes, 3.89. So he's really developed into that role of being a defensive right-sided winger or midfielder. So that is how the Premier League stands. We have a long way to go. There are 14 league games left. I think we've got a real good chance here. I mean, it's down to almost a 2-horse race. We are 8 points clear of Manchester City in 3rd, although they do have 2 games in hand on Liverpool, 1 game in hand on us. And then you've got Chelsea on 46, Aston Villa on 44, Crystal Palace 39, Newcastle on 36. So it's going to come down really to those top 3 teams once again. And we are right in the mix. I have a really good feeling that we can, certainly when we play against Liverpool, we can put up a good fight and maybe even go on and overtake them further on down the line. But that is for another episode. The final thing I'm going to show you for this one is the squad and show you exactly where Goretzka and Sutalo will fit in. So let's jump in and show you the first team squad. Okay, so I'm going to start off in the squad planner, but this time I'm going to look at the scouts report for the best 11. Now, I think this is generated the same way almost as the assistant manager report, but it shows you pretty much what our best 11 should be. It says it's Ramsdale, Kieran Tierney, Nico Schlotterbeck, Saliba and White. Jude Bellingham in the middle, who is keyed up as our star player. We have Bukayo Saka on the right, Leon Goretzka is now slotting into that central midfield role with Martinelli, Odegaard and Gabriel Jesus playing up top. So very interesting to see that Goretzka gets in but Sutalo doesn't. I do feel that some of these players at the back, certainly Schlotterbeck is ahead of Sutalo at this stage, and maybe Saliba, but I've got a feeling he can be competing with these two to get into that lineup further on down the line. If we go to the squad planner then, haven't really updated that, so we'll leave that there. If we go to best 11, you can see in terms of the squad planner for the best 11, we have Ramsdale in goal, Kieran Tierney and Barco as left backs, Schlotterbeck and Walters, Saliba and Scalvini, White and Juma, which is quite interesting because he's a youth prospect who has just come through. Didn't really see any players who were that kind of special standout player, but obviously if Juma is getting on that list, it might be that we've overlooked him. We've got Jude Bellingham and Andre Santos, Bukayo Saka and Russell Wilson, who is out on loan and doing quite well. Goretzka and Charlie Patino. Charlie Patino is a bit of a difficult one to get in the team. He can play in a couple of positions, but we do have depth in that position, so hard to get him in. But if it's saying that he is good enough to start playing games, maybe in not this season, but next season or the season after, then it's something to look at. We've got Gabriel Martinelli and Cade Cowell for the inside forwards at the top. We've got Odegaard and Arda Güler as the AM, and then up top, Gabriel Jesus and Endrick. So you can see how the team is evolving. Those players that we have been buying, the youngsters especially, are starting to be developed and brought through into the first team, getting them some game time. It just shows up now that those players in those positions are going to be the ones that will step in once some of the stars start to recline, and it means that we are really looking good for the future as well as the here and now. Right then, I'm going to leave it there. A big thank you for watching. If you're still at this point, you're still listening to me, firstly, thank you again. If you could hit the like and subscribe button to help the channel out, that would be amazing. I really appreciate everybody who's been in the comments section recently. Keep dropping those comments in. All the interaction helps to get these videos out to more people. It also helps me to produce the videos. But for this one, I'm going to wrap it there. Don't forget to check out the channel. There are hints, tips, Wonder Kids, Let's Plays, loads of stuff on the channel, and I'm sure you will find something else that you will enjoy. But as I said, for this one, I'm going to wrap it there. Come back and join me next time for another episode of the Arsenal Save.